What? All right, let's get this going. Let me know y'all can hear me. I know there's a little lag to this thing when we're ready to go. Make sure I get some thumbs up or something that this thing is working live, ready to go. Fired up for this thing now. Got everything going live stream wise. Should be smooth. Everything is charged, locked and loaded. New video dropped a few minutes ago. Went specifically talking about the first fourth downs. Kind of really what set the tempo for me for the entire game is Andy Reid's decision making, going for it on fourth down. That first fourth down, just ridiculous play execution, spinning, dancing, unbalanced, great blocking, great kind of nuanced detail about exactly how they schemed him up. And then going in, getting that first touchdown for the Chiefs, rushing touchdown option play, kind of just straight up counter option, and then come back to another fourth down later in the first half. Again, going for it. Now, they don't get a touchdown out of that drive, but they do get a huge conversion. And just kind of the aggressiveness, the mindset. They were playing to win the whole time, where I felt like the end of the first half was really the beginning of the end for the 49ers. They sit on the ball, don't take timeouts. You got your GM in the box yelling for a timeout. Got the announcers yelling for timeout. You don't. It sucks the energy out of an organization. Even if you don't have full faith in your quarterback to go out there and drop back and do it consistently, the message that sends is just one of, we're just trying to hold on. And I think it cost them towards the stretch. Now, there's all sorts of great stuff. I'm going to make a handful of videos, a number of videos all week, talking about different elements of it. Really, the one reason I did the fourth down and the option plays today was more because the All-22 isn't available yet. I don't want to use some of the past plays that I think are some of the best plays of the game and really dive into just with broadcast version kind of film. And so I'm really excited to get into those. Obviously, there's a handful of plays that are kind of must-review plays, but for both sides, really. For Patrick Mahomes, obviously wasn't sharp a lot of the game. It's almost like out of body, right? Like not sharp for over 3 quarters, and you still get the MVP. Now, I think there could be argument that other people could have deserved the MVP, but the fact that he was not playing well. In fact, probably had a bad game for 3 quarters and still is the Super Bowl MVP and beat the best defense in the league. Like, let that resonate. Like, that's how good this dude is, and that's how good he's been playing recently. And so it's just making sense of it. I think it's hard for everybody. I think as 49er kind of faithful, at least on the West Coast, hard to watch that go down on a number of different reasons. And so why they stopped running the ball, only a handful of people can answer for that. But again, there were opportunities for Garoppolo to go out there and win. That post over the top, overthrowing deep balls. It's frustrating to watch. And but all you can do is kind of tip your hat to the Chiefs, to Patrick Mahomes, the resiliency, the capacity to go out there and not be phased. Legitimately, I was phased for him watching it. I think, it was frustrating to watch. He doesn't make mistakes like those 2 interceptions are just nasty, right? Like borderline nasty. And so didn't phase him, comes right back. He gets popped a couple times, to be honest with you, like almost borderline, like should have been looked at medically on a handful of those hits that he took. And so it's just kind of like, what was it all there? Whatever it was, the resiliency to find a way and really just pull away and have a great fourth quarter performance, one for the ages in the Super Bowl. I mean, to be doing it that young, youngest to ever do the Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl winner, and MVP of the league is just fascinating, man. It's a special time to be a quarterback fan in the NFL, and I'm excited. All right, so let me dive in and see what we got here. I know Shanahan's going to get all sorts of hate, and to be honest with you, he probably deserves it. I mean, been part of 2 of the biggest implosions in Super Bowl history, and why you don't keep running the ball. I honestly, I didn't listen to any of the post-game commentary, so forgive me if some of these things have been addressed in kind of the public forum already in press conferences, but I'm probably not going to go back and watch all that stuff. And so for me, it was hard to watch. There's no other way around it. They were chunking it for a long time, and for whatever reason didn't get it going. But really, there were so many good plays that I'm really excited to break down. I think, obviously, the play that I'm most excited to break down is that massive 3rd and 15 from Patrick Mahomes hitting to Hill on really what looked almost like a deep corner or post corner. But the concept of it, I'm fascinated to see from the All-22, because it looks like Kelsey goes and sits over the ball as the number 3 and then Tyreek Hill comes in as the number 2, almost like he's going to run a post, and then sets a huge over the top. And I think the number 1 runs an in route. So, like, that's the play I'm most excited to see from the All-22, because that play really won the game. I mean, in my opinion, the 4th downs and the option plays early in the first half gave them a chance, allowed the score to be close when they probably were getting outplayed. But that play, and then Mahomes, I swear he took like a 7-step drop from shotgun, just kept dropping back. It felt a little recessy, and the protection held up, and so I'm fired up for that. That 3rd down and 15 was the play of the season for me. Just an amazing job. And then the fact that he almost had to wait for it. It was like a fair catch. It took so long. But there were a lot of misses. I mean, comprehensively in aggregate, I think the quarterback play was poor, for lack of a better word, overall in that game. Now, there were moments and flashes of brilliance, from both of them. Obviously more Patrick Mahomes, but Garoppolo, had some really nice things. I think that he gets exposed a little bit in the drop back game because they're so good running and they're so good in the play action game. There was that stat at some point, like 5 minutes left in the game, they threw up that he was like 14 for 16 on play action plays. I mean, like, it's crazy. Like, that's amazing. And that's a combination for me of scheme and player. But when he had to drop back and win it from the pocket, it just looks like there's a void of trust at some level. And so I don't know what it is without being in the room, but, it's fascinating to watch. And, you really just see, I think I predicted the Niners to win because I thought they were a better team. And I still think that they're probably a better team. But Patrick Mahomes is just that good. And that offensive perimeter is just that good. And I thought it was fascinating from a scheme standpoint, this is the quarterback school, so I want to keep it quarterback centric. But from a scheme standpoint and a play caller standpoint, Andy Reid, Shanahan, it was fascinating for me that I think Andy Reid probably had the more splash-ish run plays, as a guy, and this kind of happens sometimes when you're going matching up against someone that you respect that does it at a really high level. Kyle Shanahan is known for being one of the best scheming run callers in the league and in all of football. So what do? They go out and pull out an old single wing 1948 Rose Bowl play, guys spinning on tops, unbalanced, get huge hole on a 4th down. Then they come out, what do? They bring out speed option and hit them with like an elementary school math class about numbers and how to line up against unbalanced and balanced and putting 2-on-1s and just run option. But I mean, they're running option against the defensive rookie of the year, probably a chance to be the defensive player of the year pretty soon with Bosa, so how often do you want to do that? You pull it out for the Super Bowl. Absolutely. You pull it out on 4th downs. That is scheming up. That's scheme, execution, and great players' ability, all those things. So I'm fired up. Get over to the questions here. Obviously, the first ones I'm going with are the members. Hit me up, Kevin. Brad, let me see what you got. What plays did Jimmy not own or miss on, other than the post, of course? I mean, there were a handful of plays that he skunked, weren't there? I'm trying to think of balls that he kind of threw down low, especially at the end of the game. I haven't watched the game twice. I need to go back and pay attention to it and really dissect. Really, it's going to be 2 forms for me. It's going to be, I really want to watch that 4th quarter again and see what happened with Patrick Mahomes and how he was able to elevate it immediately. Now, there were a couple penalties. There were a handful of misses, but there were big play opportunities, obviously huge play opportunities. But then the ones that Jimmy Garoppolo, you feel like it's a combination for me. And like it's always been, it's a combination of not being able to, for whatever reason, connect with some of those guys on the perimeter. And now, obviously, the perimeter players for the 49ers aren't quite as developed as skill players as the Chiefs. I mean, they have a track team. They got guys who have been doing it together for years. But for whatever reason, I don't think anybody thinks that, was Kittle maximized yesterday? Those type of things. Do we feel like we were isolating him, putting a target on him all the time? I think that they were just more creative. What's up, Tom? Appreciate it. Love it. The first 2-month member. I'm fired up seeing that. Seeing the logo change over to blue. That means you've been a member for 2 months. I'm excited. I really appreciate that. But again, oh, here we go. A back for the Niners ran out to the flat, then hit the post. Aikman called it an H post, but I haven't been able to find anything online about an H post. Are you familiar with the concept? Yeah, I remember exactly what Aikman calling it. That's essentially called a short post. I think I might have done a video on a short post. It's either called a post route. In the digit offense, it's called a post route. In the West Coast offense, it's called a Texas route or an angle route. I like running it at a short post. You can run it there. It's not necessarily H post. Think of it as short post, and then you tag whoever runs it with the H or the F or the Y, the Z. You can run it with any position, but that's one of those things where kind of, it doesn't necessarily have to be called H post, and you can run it at the line of scrimmage. You can run it in the backfield. It's one of those things where it's a great concept used all over the field. I remember Charles Woodson once picked me off on that play, running it out a bunch. So I know where the bones are buried on that thing, but it's a great play to take advantage of linebackers who are anticipating you going out to the flat. You've been going out to the flat, and then you come into the post. And really, most of those flat throws to backs or checkdowns are kind of secondary reads where you got something down the field. It's not there. They drop off into coverage. You just flick it out to the flat. Where when you're calling a short post or an angle or a Texas route, that's usually the first read. So you're taking advantage of all those flats and outs that you've set up. Now you're going to come in, put your foot in the ground, and run it back in. And it's a great read on lots of different reasons. So great question. Again, I appreciate the support. Very cool with the membership. Fired up. Texas, there you go. See here, talking a lot. I need to get like a second mic, bring in some guests or something to take over the conversation here as I lose my voice. I'm addicted to these soda waters, sparkling waters. All right, now that I got most of my thoughts off, bringing the questions here a little bit. Was the Kittle push off a little tacky? I didn't think so. I know it got blown up, and I saw, obviously it depends on your perspective, I guess, but for me, and this is a story from the league explicitly. I think Isaac Bruce actually got into the Hall of Fame over the weekend. But I remember Isaac Bruce sitting down with our perimeter players in San Francisco saying, hey, you can do anything you want from the waist down, meaning that you push off at the waist, you can fully extend. You push off anything above the waist, and if you fully extend your arm, it's a penalty. Like, it's too easy to see. But if you push off down at the waist level or at the rib level, it's a lot easier. So he would practice those type of push-offs. But when you extend at the shoulder area, it's a penalty every time for me, especially when you catch the ball and it, in my opinion, affects the throw. Now, the bummer thing about that from the 49er perspective is he didn't need to do that. Like, I think the ball was thrown perfectly and he just trusts his hands, his body position. He's got it. But again, to me, that, if anything, that exposes, again, what a bummer that clock management was, situational football at the end of the half for the 49ers. It really buzzkilled the entire game for me, because even if they get that in that situation, I still don't think they have a whole lot of time. What was it, like 20 seconds left to be able to get a touchdown? So maybe you get a field goal out of it. You get a field goal attempt out of it. But that was just, it was so many, it was like a Valley, no timeout, Valley, big play, Valley, play called penalty. It was just like a culmination of those things where it felt like, geez, this is going sideways really fast. I don't know. I didn't think it was ticky-tacky at all. Let me know if you guys disagree. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things to pick apart in this game, right? That's why I think it was fun. It definitely wasn't, I'll be honest with you, I was mildly bored in the first half. It just wasn't that exciting from a watch standpoint, from an excitement standpoint, from a big play standpoint. I think the Chiefs actually missed a bunch of opportunities to take a shot. You don't have to complete shots. That's the thing about, I know that all these plays nowadays in the age of analytics get, was it a positive play? Was it a negative play? Sometimes a negative play or incompletion is a positive play. And what I mean by that is you have to throw the ball deep. You have to take advantage of the 49ers. And I don't care if they're playing that far off. There are ways to manipulate and take shots down the field and blow the top off Sherman and blow the top off the safeties for the 49ers and find ways to take advantage of that. And I think the Chiefs, just for whatever reason, either felt like they couldn't get it because the coverage that was being dictated, but it just felt like there were opportunities to expose them earlier. And for whatever reason, they didn't. I don't know if Shanahan was asked about the final, though. I'm assuming he was. There's no doubt about it that he's going to be, that clock management for him is going to be tethered to him for the rest of his career. I mean, unless he comes back and wins 5 Super Bowls. Even if he does, I think for a long time, the ironic thing for a lot of Chiefs fans and Andy Reid fans is I think before last night, most people would tether Andy Reid with questionable clock management and game management and those type of things, where now, all of a sudden recency bias is going to be pushed to Shanahan, and obviously he's got a long career ahead of him to kind of make those things right. But to be associated, and not that it was his fault in Atlanta, but to have those two leads in Super Bowls, and one, it's a big difference, 28-3 to 10 points. But 10 points, my thing about it, and this is just, I don't know if it's the basketball mentality of me or the offensive mentality of me, but if you're up 10 against the Chiefs, that to me just feels like, almost one possession. It really is one possession, because if they have the ball, they score, you get one possession, they score again, they're in the lead. And that's what happened. And so it never felt comfortable at all. And it always felt like we're just trying to hold on, especially, but then, some of the play calling, and that's the other thing, reason why I want to go back and watch it, really the all 22, is the second half play calling. Why you get away from the run, and then the throws that they were doing, it felt like some of them were more contested than they had to be. It wasn't the same type of play action stuff that got them so far up until that fourth quarter. And then they kind of went off the rails and did things that they weren't used to doing and got out of what got them there. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. All right. See if you can if you got questions, now's the time. I'm going to look over, read a few. If I can get a few in, I can go here for about, see how long my voice holds up, but try to go for about another half hour or so. And really, for me, early, the first three quarters, Bosa was the MVP for me. I mean, he felt like he was impacting the game defensively more than anybody else, whether he's getting his hands on the ball or causing Mahomes to get out of the pocket, and they did a decent job for the most part. Oh, Lawrence, here we go. Love it. Appreciate it. What are those things called? Super chats? Yeah, I think so. Sup, coach? I wanted the 49ers to win. I'm a Bucs fan. For the AFC, I didn't watch the fourth quarter. You didn't watch the fourth quarter. You missed out on the best thing. I appreciate the support of the channel. Thank you for stopping by the stream. Is the loss on Jimmy G's shoulders? Sure. I mean, he's a quarterback. It's on Shanahan, Jimmy G, but it's collectively, I think you can blame collectively across the board. I think defensively, the 49ers got outcoached in situational moments, especially on those fourth downs. I mean, I think if you, in retrospect, kind of hindsight, obviously, that the Chiefs went back and watched that Ravens tape of the Ravens versus the 49ers and saw how Lamar Jackson was able to have some success running the ball and use those schemes, specifically the option, and they held them for really crucial moments, and that gave them 10 points in the first half. That's really the difference, at least in the first half. Been playing Madden. Love a good Manning question. 1 and 3. How do you the difference between 1 and 3 for me is always going to be in how you identify the corners. If the corners are up, press coverage, if they're looking at the wide receiver, it's man. You can also take a peek, if you can't tell what the corners are doing, you can take a peek at the linebackers. If the linebackers are usually shadowing a back or a tight end, it's man to man. If they're eyeballing the tight end as opposed to eyeballing their keys at the line of scrimmage, I don't know if you can get that in Madden. I don't play a lot of Madden. Normally, I would just say, what are the corners looking at? Are they looking at the wide receiver? That's man. If they're looking at the quarterback, that's zone. Did you bet last night? I don't bet. No, I did not. Not that I've never bet in my life, but I don't bet. I did not bet, and I have not bet in a long time. Plans for the offseason for the channel. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I'll send out some teasers as we continue to go, but looking to kind of change things up. Maybe a Life in the League type playlist, maybe once a week, and then kind of some more in-depth concepts. I like those concept videos where you go deep dive into certain concepts, show how we did it from a bunch of different playbooks in the NFL. I think are fun, and then obviously keep the all 22 analysis going. But if you have any good ideas, let me know. I'm all about taking advantage of what y'all want to see. I think it makes it a little bit easier for me. When would you have your team go for it on fourth down? What was too far, too short? How did you make those decisions? As a quarterback, as a high school coach, we go for it on fourth down every play. It's just a math thing for me. I think the ball is more important than field position, so we will go for it. We don't even have a punt team, but that's not probably what y'all want to talk about on the talking about Super Bowls, about what my high school decision making is, but that's the reality of it. I stole it from the Pulaski Academy, a school in Arkansas does something similar where they never punt and always onside kick, so we do the exact same thing. You get the all-22 film at the NFL Game Pass. Let me see if I can, you want to watch this here, and let me see if I can get nuts. I'll probably mess this up because this is the first time I've done this. But let me see. Watch this. I made another screen. There it is. Boom. NFL Game Pass. I don't get a kickback from them at all, but I do get it free because I'm a former player. So all you do, NFL Game Pass right here. Come up. They let you watch it. Coach's film isn't up yet. Say, I'm not up. All 22 film footage not available. Will be available soon. So that's that. Don't want to leave it on here because they'll copyright strike this live stream for me. There we go. Boom. Back to the other cam. It worked. Pretty fired up about that. See if I can get my remote. There we go. Should be locked in. You guys see the other screen? Did it work? Let me know. Yeah, you got to pay for it. I think it's like, I want to say it's like 99, maybe 120 for it. Or you could have just played professional football, but it might be too late for some of you. Yeah, I would love to do quarterback evaluations for the draft. That's absolutely something I want to get into. It is much harder than you would think to find college all 22 film. I've had certain people that I appreciate reach out to me. It means a lot to me. But I don't have a full library like I do with the Game Pass. What do you think of Shanahan burning his timeouts in the final seconds? Seemed petty to me, and they were down by 2 possessions. Tom, I disagree. And I'll tell you why, because they technically didn't have enough time to run the clock out. And that's why if you go back and watch that, if you were wondering why Mahomes didn't take a knee immediately on that first down, when he was taking victory, he was trying to burn I think they were off by 9 seconds if my math was correct, and my Bud Lights helped add those things up, but they were off. They couldn't just run it out, and that's why they ended up having to throw that pass at the end. I think they still had about 5 seconds that they couldn't just come back and take a knee. But I get it why you'd want to do that. It's funny to me that you have this never give up mentality. You always want to say we're in it to the very last snap. You never want to show that you're guys that you're gonna quit on them. But I could see how certain people would think that's petty. To me, I'm gonna make them go out there and execute the snap and all those things from the jump. But to me, it was just every coach has, when you see those huge sheets that they have on there, every coach, if it's not on there, someone on the sideline has kind of basically it's just an Excel time chart to tell you how many downs you have, how many timeouts the other team has, for how long it's going to take you to take those victory snaps. And that's what they call that formation, where the quarterback just takes it and takes a knee. And so if the math doesn't match up, say there's let's say a minute left, or let's say 90 seconds left, the other team has 2 timeouts. Well, if the play clock is 40 seconds, how much time do we need to figure that out? Is there a buffer? And usually teams will still take they'll still take a knee, but they'll try to get a few extra seconds by not taking an immediate knee and kind of back up, and then take a knee. And so just to burn a few of those extra seconds. So it's part of the deal. I get why you could think both ways. Does anybody know what is that orange at the QB school thing in the live stream top chat? I don't do enough of these to know if you can go at me for something. I want to make sure I don't miss someone if they are. Really, what else we got? Got a couple minutes left here. I really appreciate y'all hopping on. 200, 215. That might be a record here. I'm going to try to do these more and more now that I have it set up. It's kind of silly of me not to. It's fun for me to interact and see where y'all are at. If you have specific things you want to see from the Super Bowl, I'll do my absolute best to make happen. Maybe it's just me. Here, I'll show it from my screen. See if you all see it. It'd probably be pretty small, but in my chat window, there's orange. Some people can orange at me for some reason. I don't know. I did laugh at the Brady commercial, man. That was awesome, wasn't it? Just toying with people. So funny. I thought it was funny. I'm sure Pats fans didn't think it was funny. But if there are certain things you want to see from the Super Bowl, let me know in the comments for today's video. I'll try to go back, make sure I hit all of them. I got a bunch of them that I'm already probably going to do, so I'll probably have the same ones. I'll probably not going to release multiple videos in a day. I know it's hard for for the people who like this channel to watch all the stuff we already put out every day. So I appreciate the support. And yeah, yes, I do mean that. Hey, what is that orange thing? Oh, it's directly to you. I got you. I did a video of the single wing today. It's out. You're welcome. I did it just for you. The Tyreek Hill corner definitely getting thrown. I'm definitely going to look at the Jimmy Garoppolo kind of post overthrow for sure. You know, that to me wins the game. It really does. If he does that at the end, there's no doubt about it. I think you got to look at that. And I think the other one that I probably will look at eventually is just the run game for the 49ers and why maybe they decided not to do it for whatever reason. But there's all sorts of good content. I'm going to look at do a play action video for the 49ers. I thought they had some great stuff going early in the game. But as far as like why the play happened, absolutely that Tyreek Hill play is going to be, in my opinion, it'll probably be one of the better videos all year for the channel, just because I know people will be excited about it. But I want to wait till the all 22, everything in my power to not do it with the TV copy. But the TV copy just didn't give me a full picture of the coverage. And so, you know, and that the crazy thing about that Tyreek Hill play for me was that right before that, Patrick Mahomes misses that throw that they review, and it was wide open. Like, he never misses that throw, and he had like 3 misses like that. The interceptions were like legit brutal. So when oh yeah, Father's Time. That's what I'm talking about. Super chat. I love it. Can you do a full analysis of the game from both teams' perspective? I mean, I could. The problem is the last full analysis that I've done for just half games, so like one team perspective, have been pulled by the NFL, meaning that they won't let me even put them on as private listings on YouTube. And so I've had to like go through and do them through a different server, and I've done it just for the Patreon community. So for the Patreon community, I probably will do something like that. I don't know if I'll do one video. It'll probably be one video for the Chiefs, one video for the Niners. But I usually save those long form things for that group because, you know, they pay a premium for that stuff, and they really like those long form videos. Where when I put longer form videos on YouTube, they occasionally, the watch time will super dip on me, just because it's just not the way that a lot of people consume content on YouTube. But I really appreciate the support. Let me know if you absolutely want to see it. I'll make sure I make it happen for the Patreon group. It's something that they seem to really like. It takes forever for me to do now, I will tell you that. Just the way that it is, it takes a long time to download the videos, upload the videos, watch a whole game, you know, all those things. But I do appreciate that people like them a lot. And so I try to do them. I just try to do one a week and do it through the Patreon. So that's where I'm at with that stuff. But I appreciate it. It's going to be, yeah, it's going to be a good one. I'm excited to do those for that group. No halftime show questions. Disappointing, really. I didn't even watch it. We went out and played some front yard football, dropping dimes. It was nice. Wait, the NFL said they love your channel. Yeah, they did say that, right? Copyright them. That's funny. I should. No, I do appreciate the fact that they don't give me too much grief, but every once in a while they'll block a one, and it's always inevitably the ones that they block are the longer ones that I put in a lot of work on, and for whatever reason, it's probably some intern watching YouTube that's got me subscribed. Dude probably hit the bell. Watkins versus Sherman. I should do that. I do. The thing about it is, I know it comes off maybe that I dislike Sherman. I think he's excellent corner. I just think that every corner, and this goes all the way back to, you know, Revis, Sanders, the things that make them great also allow you to do certain things to them. And so what I mean by that is, you know, Sherman is a great zone corner, and he does play some snaps a man. I'll get you wrong. It's not a never, but that's not his absolute strength. And so the guys for the Chiefs are just so fast. Like, they are faster than Sherman. Like, that's the thing about it. For as great a player he is, for as great a Hall of Fame corner he is, you know, at some point there's a reason why I want to say he's picked in the 5th round. If you play DB and you're picked in the 5th round, that's because you have 5th round speed. Like, that's just the truth. That's the truth. And so at some point, if they find a way to get you one-on-one and expose you at your top end speed, that's what you're going to do. And he just looks slow, especially on that play. And so they found a way to get him in those coverages. And he's found a career, a Hall of Fame career, to protect himself against that. And he's got great ball skills and timing and competitiveness out there. But if he's bumped at the line of scrimmage and our guy's faster than him, which is about every wide receiver in the league, it's got a good opportunity to make a play down the field. All right, well, I appreciate I love the full game breakdowns, honestly. And I know I say this a handful of times, but in these more like chill situations, it's fun for me to be able to provide the content that I think is what I wish existed when I was growing up, and so or when I was kind of not yet a professional. And so that's what those full games are for me. It's about real breakdowns, real, detail, real from the quarterback perspective. So I'm glad you all like it. All right, well, that's a wrap for me. I'm going to eat some lunch, go pick up my youngest son at preschool. I really appreciate the support. Really appreciate the super chat. I think they're called super chats in these live streams. It's fun for me that y'all care about it. You're interested. You support the channel. It means a lot to me. Again, let me know what you want to see from the Super Bowl. Thank you again, and see you next time. Woo!